This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Thursday, November 16th, 2023. I'm Kate Sharon. Doral Renewables, the Pennsylvania-based company behind the Mammoth Solar Project, has plans to expand the use of their solar farm to benefit locals and support their environmentally motivated values. Through the dual land use project, the company is partnering with local landowners to tend to livestock and cultivate crops on the same acres as the solar panels. Called agrivoltaics, the company wants to act as innovators in the country's growing solar market, doubling the use of the land and inviting researchers to study its impact. Ed Baptista, Doral Director of Development of Agrivoltaics and Green Hydrogen.
We are finding some resorts that are amazingly higher in terms of economic production on the same prime farmland.
One landowner aims to build his herd to 4,500 sheep in Mammoth North. Another has harvested what they call solar popcorn grown on the land's margins. So far, 750 sheep, 8 alpacas, a donkey, and a group of dogs are on the property doing their jobs. Leaders call the project their zoo. Baptista said the use of solar panels mixed with other farming gives landowners more means of economic production and better soil. They don't use herbicides, he said, and the land has other fruitful uses beyond crops that can deplete the soil of nutrients. He rejects the notion solar farms take away prime farmland, rather they are maximizing its use. A DeKalb County not-for-profit has filed a federal lawsuit over what it claims are discriminatory requirements placed on several group homes it operates for individuals with disabilities. Butler-based Inspiration Ministries says the Indiana Department of Homeland Security has, quote, engaged in intentional discrimination by classifying the homes as Class 1 structures, which imposes, quote, costly and burdensome requirements on the organization. The lawsuit was filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Indiana earlier this month. The suit lists the state of Indiana and DHS Director Joel Thacker as defendants. Inspiration Ministries provides programs aimed at reducing addiction, recidivism, and poverty in Northeast Indiana. The organization operates numerous group living homes in DeKalb, Huntington, and Noble counties, where people recovering from alcoholism, drug addiction, or who experience other mental illnesses live. United Auto Workers Union members have voted to approve a new contract with General Motors, making the company the first Detroit automaker to get a ratified deal that could bring an end to a contentious labor dispute in a series of crippling strikes. A vote tracking spreadsheet on the union's website shows that with all local union offices reporting, the contract passed by just over 3,400 votes, with 54.7% in favor. The outcome was closer than expected after the UAW's celebrations of victories last month on many key demands that led to 6 weeks of targeted walkouts against GM, Ford, and Stellantis. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to Engage Central Indiana, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. You won't want to miss our fireside chat with Governor Holcomb and the Michael A. Carroll Award presentation to Mitch Daniels. Plus, we'll dive into the important issues shaping the region's economy. It's December 6th at the JW Marriott in downtown Indy. RSVP at ibj.com/engage.
Indiana Black Expo Incorporated and the Indianapolis Urban League are urging the Newfields Board of Trustees to share information about the abrupt departure of Colette Pierce Burnett from the role of CEO of the Art Museum and Gardens. IIB's Alex Brown has more.
Leaders of Indiana Black Expo and the Indianapolis Urban League said in a joint statement Thursday that board leadership owes the community an explanation. On November 10th, Newfields announced the exit of Burnett by releasing a statement that offered no explanation for the move. A Newfields spokesperson told the IBJ that the organization adheres to a policy of not discussing the details of internal employment matters. Attempts to reach Burnett, whose 2022 hiring followed a race-related controversy at Newfields and the resignation of her predecessor, have been unsuccessful. The statement by Indiana Black Expo and the Indianapolis Urban League cited a negative perception created by the lack of details offered about Burnett's departure. Burnett succeeded controversial former CEO Charles Venable after the organization was rocked in February 2021 by a job posting that referenced the need to maintain, quote, the museum's traditional core white art audience while attempting to attract guests from all backgrounds. Venable resigned after more than 85 Newfields employees and affiliates signed a letter calling for his ouster. Burnett was the first black top executive at Newfields, an organization initially founded as the Art Association of Indianapolis in 1883. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
University of St. Francis officials say they plan to invest in a first-of-its-kind immersive medical laboratory. The new Dormer Family Foundation Immersive Laboratory will feature 360-degree camera technology and will have the ability to be transformed into an emergency room, moving ambulance, or patient's home, among other real-world situations, providing first-hand experience to students before entering the workforce. The lab will be supported by a $250,000 gift from the Dormer Family Foundation and comes following a series of projects at St. Francis Dormer Family Center for Health Science Education. Those include recent completions of a nursing resource center, graduate health science classrooms, an acute care classroom, sonography lab, and more. The U.S. Department of Energy has awarded a total of $650,000 to 13 winners of the inaugural Manufacturer of Advanced Key Energy Infrastructure Technologies, or MAKE-IT Prize. The only Indiana winner is Evansville Energy Nucleus, a collaborative project between Evansville-based not-for-profit Circular Venture Lab and the University of Evansville Center for Innovation and Change. The MAKE-IT Prize is a three-phase competition aimed at growing domestic manufacturing of critical components for clean energy infrastructure. The 13 first-phase winners will receive $50,000 to further engage their communities and draft a concept roadmap for their region. Indiana's Department of Transportation expects to lose billions of dollars in revenue in the coming decades as more Hoosiers buy alternative fuel-using and fuel-efficient vehicles. That might mean changes to a popular grant program's funding mix and more. INDOT projects it'll lose $20 million in revenue in fiscal year 2025. By 2035, it expects to be down by $37 million, in a conservative estimate, or as much as $59 million, according to INDOT's presentation slides. By 2040, losses could be between $150 million and $506 million annually. Local units of government would also miss out. That's because 82% of INDOT's and local unit state funding comes from taxes on motor fuel, and Hoosiers are expected to spend less on gasoline as they purchase electric and hybrid electric cars, or, with federal fuel efficiency standards tightening, upgrade to more efficient gas guzzlers. 23-year-old Carmel, Indiana filmmaker Ashton Gleckman is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Kate Sharon for Inside Indiana Business, Radio on Demand.